Who the math? Who the math? Who the math? Who the math?
Plus, sign, multiply, subtract, and divide. Get math in your mind, then you'll see your dollars rise. Teachers, have your kids play video games, cause it helps to get the math facts into the brain. Simple and plain, we educate with minimal strain. Have fun, everybody now, isn't it great? Try some long division today, we just give it away. No time limits, you can...
Hello, this is Miller and Lewis, your favorite stats teachers in the whole world. Okay, face it, we're the only stats teachers you know.
That's true.
All right, let's keep it that way. Don't be cheating on us. Today is our last video for this unit, other than a review video. The last topic is more outliers and standard deviation.
All right, let's hit it.
What do we got, Mr. Lewis?
Okay, so we're going to do a little review from yesterday. So we want to know the effect of outliers. So here we have a nice box plot. How would you say that's skewed, Mr. Miller?
To the right.
Yeah. Over here, most of the data is over here, and then we got this right skewing outlier over here. Okay, so in the box plot above, we want to know what's the best statistic to use for this data: the mean or standard deviation, or the median IQR? What do you think?
Those are the choices, right? They go together?
They do go together.
All right, so mean and standard deviation always go together. Median and IQR to go together. Don't mix them. All right, so they're like two couples. Mr. Lewis, I'm going to go for median and IQR.
I would agree with you.
So the reason why is when it's skewed, remember the mean is sensitive, and so is standard deviation.
Yes.
They're affected by these large values. Every value is used to compute the mean and standard deviation. So if there's some large values, they're going to influence them. But we don't want them messing up our stats, so we're going to use median and IQR because they're resilient. They're not affected by skewness or outliers.
Right. So then compared to the median, where would we expect that mean to fall?
To the right. It kind of follows the skewness. So because there are larger values on the right, the mean is going to go up. It's going to be to the right.
Somewhere to the right.
Let's label the median, and how about we label the mean? So that's the median right there. Remember the middle of the box plot? And that's x bar, the mean. So we don't know exactly where it's going to be because we don't have the data, but we know it's going to be to the right.
Right.
Okay, what's next?
All right. All right, here we got Leonardo's Pizza. Reports the salaries of his employees below. So we have an 11,000, 11,700, 12,200, 12,300, 12,500, and then, wow, somebody's making $215,000.
Overtime. Overtime adds up.
So what would be the best statistic used to describe the center of salary at Leonardo's Pizza?
Is there an outlier?
I'm thinking this one's an outlier.
How could you know for sure?
Well, we could find the upper fence and see if it lies outside of that.
But it's pretty clearly an outlier.
Yeah, I don't think we need to really do that.
Okay, so outlier, the choice is clear, median and IQR.
Right.
Because that 215,000 is going to pull up the average, and it's going to affect the standard deviation. But it probably hardly affects the median and the IQR.
Right.
So if there's outliers or skew, go median and IQR. Just got to remember that.
All right. So now it tells us to find the mean and the median. So while Mr. Miller is finding our mean, let me just
I should have saw this coming.
Do some crossing out here. Ooh, looks probably like 12,250.
I'm doing it the old-fashioned way.
Is our median.
Plus 12,300 plus 12,500. Oops. You should never ask old people to do this. Plus, there's a video about an hour long now. 215,000 equals. How many data values are there?
6.
All right. You sure?
Pretty positive.
Okay. The average is 45,783. That's the mean. So you see, it really doesn't represent.
780.
Yeah, it really doesn't represent the data very well, because 5 of the people were far less than $45,000.
Exactly.
So the mean was influenced by the guy earning $215,000.
Right. So then at the bottom, when I said, is the data skewed? We would put, oh, yes, it is. And then which way? Well, it doesn't give us a nice little graph. So what's the way we could tell which way it's skewed?
To the right, because the outlier is on the high side.
Right. Also, you can look at the mean is to the right or bigger than the median, because the mean follows the skewness.
Okay. So good. We have multiple ways here. All right.
So it's to the right.
Hit it, Mr. Lewis.
All right.
Example 3, according to the U.S. Bureau of Census in 2005. Wow.
So a little old.
Yeah, these guys were little back then.
Oh, yeah.
The median earnings in the past 12 months was $32,168 for females, $41,965 for males, whereas the mean was $39,890 for females and $56,724 for males. Mr. Lewis, if you're like me, I'd be like, what? Sometimes I have to reread, underline a few things.
A lot of numbers there. One big sentence.
Okay.
So, but what we want to know, what does this suggest of the distribution of income for each gender? We want to know if it's symmetric, skewed to the right, or skewed to the left. So let's do one gender at a time, shall we?
Who are we going to do first?
Let's do the females first.
Okay.
They came first in the problem.
All right.
So the median was
About 32,000.
32,000, and the mean was 39,000. So what does that suggest? I don't think they're symmetric.
Nope. Skewed to the,
I think they're skewed to the right.
because the mean was greater than the median.
Right. So we're skewed right.
Or, so it could be skewed to the right, certainly some outliers, something like that. But
Exactly.
either skewed to the right or there's some big outliers.
And any difference with the males?
A wee bit. 41,965 compared to 56,000. So again, the mean is way higher than the median.
So,
Skewed right.
Yep.
It's probably like the last problem. You got a lot of people making a certain amount of money, and a few fat cats making a lot of money.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, that's the real world.
Yep. And then it helps a company say, oh, look at our average. We make so much money here. All right. Whoa, it's already journal time.
What? It hasn't even been 5 minutes.
I mean, time flies when you're having fun.
Okay.
All right. So recently we have a statewide number of abortions per 1,000 women, 15 to 41 years of age, for states in the Pacific region of the United States. So we have Washington, Oregon, California, Alaska, and Hawaii, and their abortions per 1,000 people. So we want you to find the mean, the median, explain why it's different from the mean, tell us which way the data is skewed, and then kind of create a modified box plot of that data. Anything else they need to know, Mr. Miller?
Awesome. How many data values were there?
5.
Okay. That's like the bare minimum.
Yep, it is. We're playing with fire here.
Okay. All right.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.